I placed an order online for a stunningly beautiful female zombie for just 1 yuan. The customer service representative assured me that she would find her way to me. That very night, half dreaming and half awake, something icy and cold pressed itself against me. Startled, I opened my eyes wide and stammered, trembling, "Who are you? And why are you on my bed?" The figure on my bed slowly tilted her head, showing a puzzled expression. Seeing this, I continued, "If it's money you want, I can give it to you. If it's something else you want." I glanced at her breathtakingly beautiful face, gritted my teeth, and said, "That's not out of the question either." One day, I stumbled across a link online selling zombies for just 1 yuan. Overcome by curiosity, I immediately clicked on it. The product description prominently and boldly advertised a stunningly beautiful female zombie, sweet or salty, and perfect for keeping you warm at night. It also stated that the product would be shipped automatically after purchase. Following the principle of you can't lose much for just 1 yuan, I placed the order without hesitation. I even casually inquired about the African elephant I had purchased for 1 yuan a month ago, wondering where it might have wandered off to by now. As soon as the order confirmation notification popped up, a message from customer service also appeared. "Dear customer, the stunningly beautiful female zombie you purchased has been shipped. Please keep an eye out for her." I took a screenshot of the message and posted it on my social media, captioning it, "I now own both a zombie and an elephant." After posting, I casually closed the app, turned around, and completely forgot about the matter. That night, half dreaming and half awake, something icy and cold pressed against me. I reached out to touch it, and surprisingly, it felt rather nice. Wait a second. I opened my eyes and was met with a pair of pitch-black eyes staring straight at me. I screamed and quickly backed away, only to fall hard onto the ground from the force, clutching my aching backside. I stammered in terror, "Who are you? And why are you in my house?" The figure on the bed tilted her head ever so slowly, with a puzzled expression on her face. Seeing this, I continued nervously, "If it's money you want, I can give it to you. If it's something else." I looked at her disheveled yet undeniably beautiful face, and gritting my teeth, added, "I'm okay with that too, as long as you don't kill me. Name your terms, and I'll do my best to fulfill them." The figure said nothing, but slowly leaned closer to me. Tears started rolling down my face involuntarily. "Wait! Don't come any closer yet." Out of the corner of my eye, I spotted my phone on the bedside table. Quickly, I reached for it, shouting, "If you come any closer, I'll call the police." But the person on the bed showed no reaction. As I was about to open my contacts, and my peripheral vision caught a notification from a certain shopping app. It was a message from the seller. "Hello! Dear customer, your stunningly beautiful zombie has been delivered. As you are our very first customer, we've provided free home delivery service for you. If you're satisfied with our product, please leave us a 5-star review. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to your next purchase." I looked at the unmoving woman on my bed, and a bold thought emerged in my mind. Could this actually be the stunningly beautiful zombie they mentioned? Without hesitation, I snapped a photo of her and sent it to customer service. "Is this your so-called stunningly beautiful zombie?" True to their reputation, the customer service replied
dear
quickly.
Customer.
They said, "Yes, indeed." "No, wait, I thought you were joking. Did you seriously deliver one?" "No, this can't be real. This is an actual zombie." I cautiously glanced at the woman in front of me, typed out the words, and sent them to the customer service agent. "Yes, dear customer." They replied, "It's the real deal. But don't worry, she won't harm you." "Can I return her?" I asked. "Dear customer," came the reply, "this item is non-returnable and non-exchangeable. Is there any issue? We can do our best to help resolve it." Not letting me return her, I typed furiously, "I'll report you for violating consumer rights." Moments later, the customer service agent responded again. "Dear customer, did our little zombie scare you? Don't be afraid, dear. If she does anything harmful to you, we'll deduct it from her salary. You only need to enjoy the service she provides. Fine, fine, I muttered. So this is how you want to play it. I glanced at the person on the bed. Oh no, the zombie! And forced myself to say, your little zombie isn't as stunningly beautiful as advertised. She doesn't match the description. I'm dissatisfied. Dear customer, the agent replied, our product quality is absolutely guaranteed. Today's delivery might have been a bit rushed though. Her hair was a bit messy from the wind. With a little tidying up, she'd definitely meet your satisfaction. At this point, there was no other choice. I couldn't just throw her out, could I? I glanced at the time on my phone. Midnight sharp. Then I looked at the obedient little zombie on the bed. In a few swift moves, I climbed onto the bed, pushed the little zombie into the blanket, and tucked myself in right after. Lights off. Perfect. Asterisk click asterisk. The lights turned back on. The little zombie sat up slowly, her icy hands grabbing mine. The chill spread from her fingertips to my entire body, making goosebumps rise all over my skin. What the heck is this? I let her pull me along, curious to see what she wanted to do. She led me to the bathroom door. I see. She wanted to take a bath. Turns out she's a clean freak, even as a zombie. I wasn't sure if she wanted a cold bath or a hot one, so I turned to ask her, do you want to bathe? Wait, why are you undressing? Everything else you do is so slow, but you're lightning fast at taking off your clothes? I turned around and her clothes had already vanished. She blinked at me, as if to say, what are you so surprised about? I quickly closed my eyes, repeating in my head, form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. Cold water on the left, hot water on the right. Towels are on the rack, I'll get you some clothes. I bolted from the scene as fast as I could. Only heaven knows what that moment did to a single 24-year-old me. What a massive impact this was for a pure-hearted young man like me. I couldn't help but recall the scene from earlier. Her smooth, fair skin, the delicate collarbone, and that faint pinkish hue. Emptiness is form. The word desire is a blade above the head. Namo Amitabha Buddha. Revitalize China and reject temptations starting with me. How could such an inappropriate image even appear in my head? Even so, my hands betrayed me. I pulled out my phone, opened the shopping app, and with a face burning red, messaged customer service. Can this little zombie, Dear customer, came the reply. What exactly do you mean? I was just about to retreat in embarrassment when the agent seemed to catch on. Rest assured, dear customer, our little zombies can do anything humans can. We're an honest manufacturer. Our anti-decay process is top-notch. There won't be any rotting, no corpse spots, and no unpleasant smells. You can use her with complete confidence. My face grew even hotter. But then another thought struck me. Why doesn't she speak? And why does she move so sluggishly? The reply came quickly. Dear customer, that feature costs extra. You can check out our pricing table. As our first customer, we can offer you a 99% discount. I opened the image sent by customer service. Voice customization, sultry dominatrix tone. Price $5 million. Supports green bubble bank loans. And kidney sales with hospital coordination available. Alright, I muttered, you win. Are you guys deliberately trying to rob me blind? Is this what you've been waiting for? I asked. Why is it so expensive? Customer service. Where exactly is this considered expensive? This has been our standard price for years. Our little zombie's quality is top-notch. Maybe take a moment to reflect on yourself. A moment later. Dear customer, my apologies, my younger sister grabbed my phone just now. How about I compensate you with a 95% discount? Alright, even though I'm just an ordinary webcomic artist, my brother happens to be a ridiculously wealthy CEO. He gives me $1 billion in allowance every month. What? You're wondering how I know such a rich brother? Well, it's obviously because the plot demands it. Otherwise, I couldn't afford to support a woman With my brother's backing, I boldly unlocked the sultry dominatrix voice and normal movement speed options. And no, I didn't choose the sultry dominatrix voice because it was cheaper. Absolutely not. Dear customer, we've processed your order. The unlock methods are as follows: a loving hug to unlock movement speed, and a kiss to unlock the sultry dominatrix voice. Please check your updates. The message from customer service arrived. Wait, they didn't mention these unlock methods before. Why do I feel like I've been scammed? Just then, the bathroom door creaked open. The little zombie, now wearing my clothes, stood at the bathroom doorway, her damp hair clinging to her face. She was short, and my clothes didn't fit her well, making her look a little awkward. How do the novels usually describe this? Oh, right, blow-drying hair. Then an ambiguous atmosphere flows between us. Asterisk hey hey asterisk. I sat her down, grabbed a hairdryer, and began drying her hair. I have to say, this little zombie really is top tier. Her small face is incredibly delicate and sweet, and paired with the sultry dominatrix voice I carefully chose, she perfectly matches all my preferences. Asterisk hey 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 asterisk. Such an adorable little zombie. Asterisk hey 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 asterisk. I couldn't help but smile creepily, but out of the corner of my eye, I saw her reflection in the mirror. The little zombie was staring at me intently. I immediately reined in my expression, trying hard to make my face look serious. After finishing her hair, I put the hairdryer away and said, "All done." Then, pretending to be serious, I stepped forward and gave her an extremely natural and very stiff hug. "Alright," I said, "let's sleep." I climbed into bed, moving clumsily with matching hands and feet, then shut my eyes tight. I felt the bed dip beside me. The sound of the lights turning off echoed in the room. I quietly rolled over. But before I knew it, a strong force pulled me back. I fell into an icy embrace. Hey! This is exactly what I paid for. Immediate effect right after the hug. Impressive. A faint fragrance of sandalwood mixed with my body wash filled my nose. I sneaked closer to where her chest should be. Good. No heartbeat. The customer service didn't lie to me. The darkness emboldened me. And since the little zombie was already being so forward, I decided to go all in, no hesitation. I turned to face her, letting my hands wander freely across her body. I secretly reveled in the moment. This was money well spent. She grabbed my roaming hands, pulling me even closer. I looked up, barely able to make out the contours of her face. Suddenly, I remembered the method for unlocking her voice. If not now, when? I leaned in, pressing my lips quickly against hers. They were soft and springy like jelly. Just as I was about to tell her to say something, her cold lips pressed down on mine. I was caught off guard, and her slick, icy tongue skillfully pried my mouth open. Help! All I wanted to do was let out a sharp scream. Yes, I'm single. But what man isn't tempted by beauty? What man can resist the allure of a woman? Especially someone like me, a pure-hearted young man who's been single for 24 years. So, with full justification, I slid my hand under her shirt, shamelessly groping. Her body stiffened, and she released me, letting out a low, muffled groan from her throat. "Stop it," she murmured. At this point, my excitement reached its peak. Having abstained for 24 years, I felt like a desperate king, hugging the little zombie tightly and planting kisses all over her. In her mind, the little zombie was probably thinking, "No way, this guy is seriously a pervert." The next day, both of us woke up with big dark circles under our eyes. Don't get the wrong idea. Nothing happened. The main theme here was me trying to coerce and cajole her, but the little zombie remained stubbornly unyielding. Frustrated, I messaged customer service. "What's going on?" The little zombie refuses to cooperate. "She's completely disobedient. Dear customer," came the response. "Please don't rush things, alright? Take your time to build a relationship first. Once there's affection, everything will happen naturally." Affection? I was puzzled. Patiently, the customer service agent explained, "Yes, dear customer. We used special techniques to preserve the little zombie's soul. Although her body lacks vital signs, she's otherwise no different from a normal person. Of course, the zombie's body is quite fragile. If she gets hurt, she can't heal herself." Got it. I glanced at the little zombie, noticing the marks on her neck left by me during last night's battle. Awkwardly, I scratched my nose and continued my inquiry. "What if she's already injured?" Dear customer. The agent's enthusiasm visibly increased. "We have a specially formulated medicine made by our boss. It doesn't cost 8,888 coins, nor does it cost 8,888 installments. It's just 888 coins for a bottle, guaranteed to cure all injuries. Would you like to order one?" Wait, hold on. She could just rob me directly, but instead, you're trying to sell me a bottle of medicine? Seeing that I hadn't replied for a while, the customer service sent another message. "Dear customer, if you order now, we have a special deal. For bottles for only 20 million. Why not consider it?" I closed my eyes, gritted my teeth, stomped my foot, and said, "Fine, send me for bottles first." Asterisk ding, order confirmation popped up, followed by a message from customer service. "Dear customer, we've arranged for delivery via SF Express, cash on delivery. Estimated arrival in 2 days. Please keep an eye out for it." I frowned. "That's so slow. Why not have a little zombie deliver it to me instead?" "Dear customer," came the reply, "this order is being sold at a loss for us, so we're trying to save on costs. Please understand." All right, muttered. 20 million for 4 bottles of water, and you're claiming a loss. You'd better have mixed some gold in there. After ending my discussion with customer service, I got up and poured myself a glass of water. Looking around, I realized the little zombie was nowhere to be seen. I opened the study door, and there she was, sitting at my desk, looking at the comics I'd drawn. My face turned red. I rushed over and snatched the laptop away. "Why are you here?" I asked. The little zombie didn't answer directly. Instead, she asked, "Why do you draw this?" That question sparked my enthusiasm. One day, I just felt like drawing something. I picked up a pen, and before I knew it, all these sketches came pouring out. It's like the inspiration couldn't be stopped. "I'm a webcomic artist," I explained. "But this is my first work where both the story and the art are entirely done by me. It's not finished yet, but it's already gained a huge fan base, making me, someone already fairly famous, a big name in the comic world." The little zombie lowered her head silently. I had no idea what she was thinking. Casually, I asked, "By the way, what's your name? Do you have one? If not, how about I call you Zhang Zhang?" Zhang Zhang gazed to my face and said nonchalantly, "My name is Bai Ningbing." I was stunned. That's the same name as the female protagonist of my comic. What a strange coincidence. Bai Ningbing pursed her lips, her gaze shifting away from my face. "Yeah," she said softly, "it is quite the coincidence. Now, suddenly having a guest, well, a female corpse, in my house, which was strictly a bachelor pad, meant there were obviously no women's clothes around. After realizing that Bai Ningbing could safely go outside in daylight, I decided to take her shopping. It was clear as day. Bai Ningbing was a natural clothes model. She looked stunning in anything she tried on. With a wave of my hand, I declared, "We'll take it all," just as I was about to haul our bags home. My overly persistent admirer, Liu Ryan, blocked our path. My suitors could line up from here to France, but Liu Ryan was the most relentless. "Fang Yuan, who is she?" she asked through gritted teeth. I hooked my arm around Bai Ningbing's. "My girlfriend," I said with a smirk. "Got a problem with that?" Liu Ryan, seething with anger, snapped, "You rejected me for someone like her?" Seeing her talk about Bai Ningbing like that, I rolled my eyes in frustration. What's wrong with someone like her? She's taller, more beautiful. You can't even compare to her. Now get out of the way. Move. With that, I grabbed Bai Ningbing's hand and marched past her, leaving Liu Ryan standing there, furious and helpless. After walking a few steps, I suddenly felt something was off. Turning my head, I saw Bai Ningbing looking at me with sparkling eyes. "What's wrong?" I asked. She didn't respond. Instead, she simply stared at me, with eyes as moist and innocent as a fluffy puppy's. I rubbed my temples, silently cursing. Damn it. How can this woman be so sweet? And then, channeling my inner domineering CEO, I took her home and tormented her thoroughly. Recently, I've been troubled. Ever since our encounter with Liu Ryan that day, she's been like a piece of chewing gum stuck to me, constantly coming to my house to bother me. I couldn't shake her off no matter how hard I tried. What's worse, every time Bai Ningbing saw Liu Ryan sitting casually on my sofa, she would put on a teary-eyed expression, like a betrayed spouse. I was utterly helpless. Because of this, Bai Ningbing wouldn't even cuddle with me anymore. Today, Liu Ryan showed up again, holding a strawberry cake, leaning casually against my door. "Hello, sir," she said sweetly. "Would you be willing to accept my confession today?" Expressionless, I took the strawberry cake from her hands and closed the door. "I'll accept the cake," I said flatly, "but you can take your feelings back." Before I could react, Liu Ryan slipped sideways into the house. "Don't be so heartless," she teased. "I waited in line for 3 hours to get this cake for you. The least you could do is invite me in for a glass of water before I leave." As she spoke, she hooked her arm around my shoulder, pulling me further into the house before I even had time to resist. I turned around to see Bai Ningbing standing at the doorway, tears welling up in her eyes. "Am I interrupting something?" she asked softly. I immediately shrugged off Liu Ryan and rushed forward to grab Bai Ningbing's hand. She pulled her hand free, forcing a faint smile, clutching her chest as she turned to walk back to her room. "I'm fine, Fang Yuan," she said with a strained voice. "As long as you're willing to stay with me. I don't mind being the lesser one. It's just that my heart feels a bit heavy, that's all. You don't have to worry about me. I'll sort myself out." Listen to that. What a considerate little darling. Her words tugged at my heart, almost breaking it. Behind me, Liu Ryan shouted, "Fang Yuan, don't let her fool you. I'd like to see how long she can keep up this act." Bai Ningbing froze mid-step. Her sultry dominatrix voice now carried a hint of a sob, making it even more intoxicating. "I don't know why Big Sister has to insult me," she murmured. "I just love Fang Yuan so much. I've already stepped aside and accepted a lesser role. Why does Big Sister still refuse to let go of me? Does Big Sister want to keep Fang Yuan all to herself?" Hearing this, I lost it. "Liu Ryan," I shouted, "if you dare say one more word about Bai Ningbing, I'll throw you out myself." But Liu Ryan wouldn't give up. "Fang Yuan, she's tricking you. I'm telling you. She's nothing but a scheming little green tea. Don't be fooled by her pitiful act." I was so furious I could hardly stand it. Pointing at the door, I yelled, "Get out, Liu Ryan. Do you think I don't know what Bai Ningbing is like? You just can't stand her. So you think everything she does is wrong? If that's the case, then there's nothing left to say. Get out." Liu Ryan stormed out, slamming the door behind her. "I'll expose her true colors to you one day, Fang Yuan," she yelled. I didn't take her words to heart. Instead, I turned back to comfort Bai Ningbing. "It's all right now, Bai Ningbing. I've taught her a lesson for you." Her eyes were red, making her look heartbreakingly vulnerable. But even so, she said gently, "If you want to go after her, then go. Don't worry about me. I'm fine." Her words made my heart ache. Without thinking, I grabbed her and pulled her close. "Forget about her," I said. "Right now, it's just the two of us." I was enjoying the sweet closeness with Bai Ningbing when suddenly my phone rang. It was a call from the hospital. Turns out, Liu Ryan was so angry she got hit by a car. Fearing that she might have been seriously injured, I hurriedly grabbed Bai Ningbing and rushed to the hospital. The moment I saw Liu Ryan with her head wrapped up like a mummy, I couldn't help but burst out laughing. Her two exposed eyes darted toward me, then landed on Bai Ningbing behind me. "Mocking me is one thing," she exclaimed, "but you brought that little green tea here too? I'm so angry I got hit by a car." And now you're trying to drive me to my grave. I quickly suppressed my laughter and replied, seriously, Liu Ryan, I've only ever thought of you as a good friend. Alright. She interrupted impatiently. I don't want to see either of you right now. Just leave. I fell silent, realizing this wasn't the right time to have this conversation. Fine, then we'll leave. Take a good rest, I said softly. I held Bai Ningbing's hand and stepped out of the room. Faintly, I could hear Liu Ryan grumbling under her breath. What the hell ... Time, I'm the first one to appear. And every single time, this little green tea barges in and messes it up. Hearing this, Bai Ningbing turned her head, giving Liu Ryan a meaningful look. I followed her gaze and looked back as well. Liu Ryan's eyes turned red as she shouted, "What are you looking at?" Feeling conflicted, I tugged Bai Ningbing's hand and led her out the door. In my distraction, I accidentally bumped into a doctor entering the room. Quickly, I apologized, pulling Bai Ningbing along with me. Yet, I noticed the doctor's gaze was fixed on Bai Ningbing's face. Bai Ningbing was beautiful, no doubt about it. I assumed he was just another boy captivated by her looks. Not giving it much thought, I tugged her along and walked away. On the road, Bai Ningbing furrowed her brows deeply. It was as if she was lost in some heavy thought. I teased her with a smirk. What's wrong? Did that doctor just steal your heart? She snapped out of her daze and replied, no, there's just something about him. She added, he felt strangely familiar. Almost like someone I used to know ... Can't seem to remember who it was. Feigning jealousy, I stepped in front of her and blocked her path. Hold on, I said sternly. Your boss clearly told me. I'm your first customer. Green. Do you have a history? Bai Ningbing chuckled, her icy demeanor melting for a moment. She leaned down and pinched my cheeks. Of course not, silly. It's only ever been you. It's always been you. Her words left me floating on air. Behind me, my little tail practically wagged itself with glee. Alright then, I said, trying to stay composed. I suppose I'll reluctantly accept this honor. Be careful, she warned playfully. A motorcycle roared past, speeding dangerously close behind Bai Ningbing. Reacting instinctively, I rushed toward Bai Ningbing. I grabbed her arm and yanked her out of harm's way. What kind of person? I muttered in anger. Do you even know how to ride properly? I shouted at the disappearing figure of the motorcyclist. After venting, I quickly turned to check if Bai Ningbing was hurt. Bai Ningbing placed her hand gently over mine. I'm fine, she reassured me. He didn't touch me at all. I let out a relieved sigh. That's good. Seriously, what's wrong with people like that? Maybe it was the shock of the close call today. Someone like me, who hardly ever dreams, actually had one that night. In my dream, Bai Ningbing collapsed in my arms. All around us was a cacophony of chaotic noise. I heard the voices of many boys, pleading desperately. No, please, no! I don't want Bai Ningbing to die. Author, what are you even doing? Give me a leading lady. Write it now. Then a voice declared, I proclaim that the heavens will triumph over childhood sweethearts. Can I just pay to make this happen? Bring Bai Ningbing back to life for me. Finally, a cold, mechanical voice pierced through the chaos. In Fang Yuan's heart *, supporting character Bai Ningbing has deviated from her character design. Termination! To be executed immediately. In the dream, Bai Ningbing leaned close to my ear and whispered something. A sudden ringing overtook my ears, making it impossible to hear her words. Desperately, I shook her shoulders and pleaded for her to repeat herself. But my hearing was gone and my heart pounded furiously. She closed her eyes, never to open them again. A suffocating sadness enveloped me, choking me, making it impossible to breathe. I let out a hopeless, agonizing cry. Suddenly, I felt an icy hand. A gentle pat on my back pulled me back to reality. My consciousness slowly returned. I heard Bai Ningbing's voice whispering softly in my ear. I'm here. My face was streaked with tears, and my body was drenched in cold sweat. I silently hugged Bai Ningbing tightly, allowing myself to process the lingering emotions from the dream. Come to think of it, I had only known Bai Ningbing for just under half a month. Aside from the initial scare she gave me, the rest of our interactions had been surprisingly natural. It felt like I had an innate sense of trust and dependence on her. Bai Ningbing, I called softly. She responded. Will you disappear someday? I asked. I don't know, she replied. Her words frustrated me, so I gave her a light smack on the arm. Can't you just comfort me a little? I complained. She let me hit her and muttered quietly. I don't want to lie to you. I stopped talking, choosing instead to hold her silently. As long as she didn't have a heartbeat, she couldn't die, right? The next 2 months passed sweetly with Bai Ningbing in our home. One day, Liu Ryan suddenly told me she had started dating someone. She invited me and Bai Ningbing out for dinner to meet him. I thought it was a bit sudden, but I was genuinely happy for her. Coincidentally, my comic had just concluded. The editor was already contacting me to organize a release event for my next work. I figured it was the perfect opportunity to share this good news with Liu Ryan. When we arrived at the agreed location, I noticed that Liu Ryan's boyfriend looked oddly familiar. I couldn't quite place where. I had seen him before. Liu Ryan, beaming, introduced him. This is my boyfriend, He Kong. I smiled at the guy to show some friendliness. Casually glancing up, I caught sight of Liu Ryan, talking to him about something. He covered his mouth and laughed. As I stared at his eyes, I suddenly remembered, wasn't this the doctor from before? Liu Ryan. I teased. You've really got skills, huh? Got yourself a boyfriend while staying in the hospital? Of course. Liu Ryan replied without hesitation. Your big sis is irresistibly charming, alright? Yes, of course. I said, playing along. By the way, this Saturday I'm hosting a launch event for my new comic. Make sure you both come to support me. Alright, don't worry, we'll be there. Liu Ryan said with a smile. As the drinks flowed, Liu Ryan got up to go to the restroom and insisted that Bai Ningbing go with her. She claimed it was time to put all past grudges behind them. Real sisters go to the restroom together, she said. Left alone at the table with He Kong, I was just about to start a conversation when he spoke first. So, I hear you and Liu Ryan grew up together? Yeah, I replied. When we were kids, she was my neighbor. Really? He Kong chuckled. I heard she even had a crush on you back then. Why didn't you two end up together? Oh, come on. I waved my hand dismissively. That could never happen. She only ever saw me as her little brother. He Kong smirked slightly. Is that so? He leaned back and added, by the way, is your friend feeling okay? The last time I ran into you all at the hospital, I accidentally bumped into her. For a moment, I thought I touched a zombie. Good thing she's standing here alive and well, or I'd have freaked out. I forced a laugh and quickly explained. She was born with a condition. It's something her dad passed down to her. Her body temperature has always been naturally lower than others, I explained. Though I said it calmly, inside, my heart sank to the bottom. After spending so much time with Bai Ningbing, aside from the occasional physical contact, I had almost forgotten that she wasn't a normal person. She had no body heat, no breath, and no heartbeat. Although no one had noticed so far, it wouldn't take much for someone observant to figure it out. What would happen if she were discovered? Would she be taken away for research or dissected outright? I didn't dare to think about it. When we got home, I stayed quiet and sullen. Bai Ningbing asked me what was wrong, so I shared my concerns with her. She smiled and said, "It's all right. Soon, this kind of life will come to an end." I pinched her cheek and said, "Hey, you better come clean right now. Are you hiding something from me?" She only smiled mysteriously, refusing to answer. "Fine," I said. "If you won't talk, then don't." But I already know. It must be something related to your past life, isn't it? Although I didn't know exactly what had happened. Based on various clues and the dream I had before, I could more or less piece together parts of it. Suddenly, I thought of someone who might have answers. I opened the shopping app, typed furiously, and hit send. As always, customer service replied with lightning speed. "So, you finally figured it out. Looks like you're not as clueless as I thought." "What's going on?" I demanded. Feigning an air of mystery, the response came. "When the time is right, you'll understand everything yourself. By the way, I have something here." That I guarantee you'll find interesting. 999,999 yuan, shipping not included. Do you want it? That familiar feeling again. After relentless upselling from the other side, I finally gave in and became this fool once more. Is there any way to make her normal again? The thought suddenly hit me. Maybe customer service would know. Customer service hesitated. Sorry, dear customer. This depends entirely on whether Bai Ningbing can recover her original body. The only thing we can do is repair her soul and create a temporary body for her. Beyond that, there's nothing we can do. A fake body? Then where is her real body? I asked. It was stolen by someone else. Customer service replied. I pressed further. Who took it? And why? Customer service evaded the question, stammering for a while before finally saying, stop prying into things like this. After that, no matter how many messages I sent, they refused to respond. I'm definitely reporting them for poor service attitude. On the day of my new book launch, just before leaving the house, I inexplicably grabbed the potion I had bought from customer service, along with the protective talisman I had purchased a few days ago. What is this? They made it sound so mysterious, but it's just a simple talisman. After thinking about it for a moment, I decided to take them with me anyway. Just in case, I thought. The book launch went smoothly. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed He Kong, smiling warmly at me. Though he was smiling, but his smile sent a chill down my spine. The unsettling feeling lingered all the way to the end of the launch event. When the crowd had dispersed, only the four of us remained. No one spoke, and the air was thick with an eerie tension. Let's go! I broke the silence. Yeah, let's go, He Kong said, his eyes curving into a smile. You really are my naive male protagonist, still so innocent. What do you mean by that? Bai Ningbing glared at him fiercely. Exactly what it sounds like, He Kong said, his gaze turning cold and sharp. With a wave of his hand, a control panel materialized in front of him. Asterisk Fang Yuan male led, Bai Ningbing's second female lead, asterisk. Asterisk self-awareness detected. Deviation from original storyline. Execution for erasure authorized, asterisk. The silence was deafening, a deathly stillness filling the room. What's going on? I muttered. He Kong repeated his command. Execute erasure immediately. Stop shouting. Finally, Liu Ryan, who had been quiet this whole time, spoke up. I already dismantled your chip. Scream all you want, it won't work. He Kang's face filled with disbelief. Liu Ryan, you betrayed me? Liu Ryan didn't deny it and replied bluntly. Cut the crap. Hand over Bai Ningbing's body. He Kang's expression twisted with rage. Don't even think about it. If that's the case, then all of you can die together. No one expected He Kong to have secretly planted bombs here. In the critical moment, I divided the remaining 3 bottles of potion between the 2 women and myself. Although I had no idea whether it was safe to drink, or if it would even work, I decided to gamble. A desperate attempt to turn the tide, at least before dying. I got to drink an 888,888 yuan bottle of potion. It's not a bad way to go. As the explosion echoed through the room, both Bai Ningbing and Liu Ryan instinctively shielded me. The violent ringing in my ears left my head pounding, and I lost consciousness. I drifted into a long dream. In the dream, my family and Liu Ryan's were old family friends. We grew up as childhood playmates, walking to school together every day, bickering and laughing, spending countless springs and autumns together. Our parents had planned for us to marry since we were children, but I only ever thought of her as an older sister. The idea always felt awkward to me. Every time the topic came up, she would make a face of disdain and say, "Who would want to marry him?" I assumed she felt the same way I did. When I turned 16, Liu Ryan and I went for a leisurely stroll through the town. As we chatted and laughed, my eyes happened to glance through the window of a nearby tea house. That single glimpse left me entranced. I couldn't tear my gaze away. Standing tall with sword-like brows and starry eyes, this person was the epitome of elegance, a peerless gentleman. I asked around and discovered she was Bai Ningbing, the heir of the Pink Prince's household. From that day forward, I found every excuse to meet her. We admired flowers, snow, and moonlight together, and discussed everything from poetry to life's ambitions. Through relentless effort, I finally won Bai Ningbing's heart. She gave me her mother's protective talisman as a token of her love. On the day of my wedding to Bai Ningbing, Liu Ryan also attended. She drank heavily that day. When others asked her why she drank so much, she simply replied that she was overjoyed at her brother's wedding. But what brother? We weren't actually related. Everyone knew the truth but chose not to bring it up. No one wanted to break the illusion. After the wedding, Bai Ningbing's health inexplicably deteriorated. No matter how many imperial physicians were summoned, none could find the cause of her illness. She eventually died in my arms. After her death, I followed her in grief, choosing to end my own life. Only after my death did I learn the truth. This was all part of a novel called Fang Yuan's Heart, **. In this story, Liu Ryan and I were meant to be the official couple, and Bai Ningbing's appearance disrupted the plot. That's why she had to die. How absurd! I was consumed by endless darkness. I don't know how much time passed before I opened my eyes again. The harsh light stung my eyes, and I struggled to adjust to the brightness of the hospital room. Turning my head, I saw Bai Ningbing leaning over, asleep by my side. I moved my fingers slightly. She stirred, sensing my movement, and woke up. Grabbing my hand, she exclaimed, "Fang Yuan, you're finally awake." I froze, feeling the warmth of her palm. It was warm. "You're okay now," I rasped, my voice dry and hoarse. Bai Ningbing quickly poured me a glass of water. "What nonsense are you talking about?" she said. "You were the one who got hurt. How could anything happen to me?" "And Liu Ryan?" I asked. "Liu Ryan? Who's that?" Bai Ningbing frowned and touched my forehead. "Did you hit your head too hard? I'll go get the doctor. Wait for me here." "Liu Ryan?" I repeated to myself. The name sounded so familiar. Why did I even ask about her? I touched my forehead, wondering if I really had been hit too hard. At that moment, Bai Ningbing returned with the doctor. The doctor assured us that I was fine and had nothing serious to worry about. But Bai Ningbing wasn't convinced. She insisted that I might be mentally disoriented, demanding that I recount my life story. With no other choice, I played along. "Fang Yuan," I began. "Male, 24 years old, a webcomic artist. My girlfriend is Bai Ningbing. We met in college. A few days ago, I got hit by a falling signboard during my book launch and ended up in the hospital." Bai Ningbing seemed satisfied and stroked her chin. "Not bad, you're not brain damaged after all." After recovering, I was cleared to leave the hospital. Once we completed the discharge formalities, we headed home with bags in tow. Though sometimes, I still felt as though I'd forgotten something. But whenever I tried to remember, it always seemed like there was nothing there. I shared this nagging feeling with Bai Ningbing. She smiled, patted my head, and said, "It's all right. If you can't remember now, you'll remember someday. Maybe it'll just come back to you all of a sudden." Leaning against her, I listened to her steady, strong heartbeat and murmured softly, "Mm." The wind rustled the treetops, and the warm sunlight bathed us. This moment was perfect. I am Liu Ryan. To be precise, I am the author of *Fang Yuan's Heart, *Liu Ryan. From a young age, I adored the boy next door, the sweet neighbor who grew up alongside me. We went to school together, stole chicken eggs and bird nests, climbed trees and caught fish together. When we were kids, the adults always teased, saying I'd grow up to marry my little brother. They said it casually, without meaning much. But I took it to heart, though I always acted annoyed to save face. Deep down, I anticipated that day more than anyone else. But as he grew older, he brought home a girlfriend. I secretly went to see her. A little green tea like that? She's nothing compared to me. I didn't expect him to be so eager. As soon as he reached the legal age for marriage, he registered with that little green tea, And so my silent, unrequited love came to an end, never to see the light of day. Later, I wrote a novel based on us. The protagonists were him and me. By chance, I discovered a way to enter the world of the novel. Without hesitation, I dived in, thinking that if we couldn't be together in reality, at least the novel would let me indulge in the fantasy. But I miscalculated. Even in the novel, he didn't like me. Even when I erased Bai Ningbing, he still pursued her without hesitation. I was like a rat hiding in the shadows, watching him be happy from the gutter. Even though I was the protagonist, even though the heavenly will of the novel supported me, Fang Yuan didn't like me. He never liked me. Even my readers sided with him and Bai Ningbing, wishing for their happiness. Suddenly, it all felt so meaningless. So I left the novel world, opening my computer. I re-edited Fang Yuan's heart. Delete character view, Ryan? Yes, if that's how it is. Then I also wish you happiness.